How's the bacon, did you say? How's the bacon, did you say?
You're listening to Send Him Off. My name is Sam, and joining me, as always, is my ever-present podcasting partner, Alex. How's your week been, mate?
It's been all right, yeah. Looking forward to this one. Of course, I'm looking forward to the podcast. But we're not alone. As you know, as you can all see, we're joined by... Sam, go on.
Oh, we're joined by
You always do it.
Hodgy from Talk of the Toon podcast to talk all things Newcastle Takeover. How are you doing,
Admittedly, we are about 4 weeks late, but it doesn't matter.
We are a little bit late to the party. But Sam Fender was booked, so we've got Hodgy.
Yeah, I'm not as hungover as what Sam Fender probably would be, because I think he's still partying about the takeover and everything. So thanks for having us there, lads. I'm looking forward to
coming on.
Yeah, cheers for coming, mate. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting a Newcastle point of view, because we've chatted about it amongst ourselves, but obviously as Swansea fans, we can't really dream of the level of investment that you guys have had.
Well, we can dream about it, but we just can't make it a reality.
Yeah, exactly. So what were your initial thoughts with it?
Just, I didn't even think it was real. We've got obviously a group chat for me and the lads on the podcast. And I think for about 5-6 days straight away afterwards, I was just like, is this actually happened? Or are we going to get punked by Aston Kutcher in a minute or something like that? Because it just honestly did not seem real. We, as Newcastle fans, especially as of late with the kind of Mike Ashley era, we don't get this kind of look. It just does not happen. And to have, well, we're not going to have 320 billion at our expense, but it's just nice to dream that that's there just in case in the bank, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's just been absolutely...
Well, you say like you haven't got it there, but I think there's going to be quite a heavy investment in Newcastle, because we've always said Newcastle are a massive club with a lot of history. And I think the takeover is going to sort of push it in the direction of like taking it where you were back with Kevin Keegan and all those kind of, back in them days. So how do you feel about that?
I think having the kind of the entertainers kind of thing put back on us would be really nice. I mean, the thing about the club, and we're very consistent in how we say it, and some people think we're a bit of dreamers and we shouldn't be where we are, or where we have been in the past, but we're very much like working class people in the Northeast, man. We just want to go and spend our money on a football club that shows a bit of desire, or you get some hope. You've worked all week. You want to be cheered up at the weekend watching your team, not seeing them defend with 10 players and a goalkeeper in their own half, just trying to keep a team out. So to have that kind of investment where you can go out there, I don't mean straight away, don't go out there buying Mbappes and spending all your money in one transfer window on one player. It's not going to work. You're going to need to spend but just to spend 30 million, 40 million on a good player rather than just some random person that like Mike Ashley thinks he's going to make money off a transfer or the shirt sales. It's good to actually have someone there now who's going to go, right, we need the right players and we're going to spend the money on the right players. Personally, I'd like to see James Ward-Prowse come, because I think he's an absolute baller.
He's quality, isn't he?
We'll wait and see what kind of happens from that point on, yeah.
That's a big name. That's a big name.
The thing is, really. You said about like you don't want all the money being spent all in one place with big super signing. The thing is, Newcastle, like you're in a bit of a position at the minute where you might have to sort of make some big transfer or a big money move just to avoid relegation. Because I can say actually personally, like as Swansea fans, we do not want to there's certain teams you want to see in the Championship. We do not want to see Newcastle in the Championship. For the simple reason, you've got far too much money, your players are far too good for us to
Newcastle come down, that's 6 points taken off us next
Yeah,
season.
exactly. And that's one position, it's basically playoffs for us. So,
I think though, just to have one person, I don't really think is going to make a difference, because our team is full of okay players. I mean, Callum Wilson, I think, is a good player, and St. Maximin's obviously a very technically gifted player. But there's holes at the minute, and they need to be filled with people who are proven, but also are going to be able to give you some sort of consistency. And I don't think putting a real big star player on a lot of money is really going to solve that situation straight away. It needs to be a 4 or 5 player. I mean, we can spend the 200 million. I mean, just 200 million, you know. But we can spend 200 million or 220 without financial fair play being breached, which is fantastic. And I'd love to like say 4 or 5 players or 6 players that are going to be worth 35, 40 million. I think will help better than just having one player. Because if that one player then gets injured, you're screwed. End of the day, aren't you?
200 million is an entire squad. That's a new squad.
It is.
That's about 4 Swansea squads, mate.
Yeah, I know.
And the rest, actually.
I was going to say, and a few youth teams as well.
Yeah. It's
Not
like
bad
your
at all.
payday, you've just been paid and you're like, oh, get in what I want for me dinner tonight. You go for a takeaway. You go for an expensive takeaway.
Yeah.
And then you go, like when you're getting towards the end of it where you run out of money, you go, why did I do that? Like that might be the case if we go and buy some crazy money players to start with.
Thing is, though, I feel like Newcastle, of all the like Premier League teams, I'm not sure I could name you like a signing who's actually come in the last 2 years, other than Callum Wilson.
I'm probably St. Maximin.
He's been there about 2 or 3 years now, hasn't he? Yeah, something like that. But there's little to no summer incomings.
There's not been much, man. We've been loaning out players as well at the time where we shouldn't have really loaned out players. Lejeune was one of them. He was probably one of our better centre backs, and we loaned him out to Alaves in Spain, and then we eventually sold him. Obviously, Freddie Woodman, you'll know, lent him out and he did quite well.
Just quickly, what do you make of Freddie Woodman?
Yeah, I'm really interested.
I'm intrigued.
I think he's one of these players who's a classic, like championship player. Another example would probably be Dwight Gale and probably Mitrovic. Players that'll do very well in the championship and then they get an opportunity in the Premier League and it always never really seems to work out quite right. Because obviously he did very well for you guys, I think, and he was quite good with penalty saves.
He had a bit of a mixed reception down there. Everybody loved him because he wore the shirt, kissed the badge, all that kind of stuff.
Personality-wise, couldn't fault them.
I didn't mind him, but there was a few people who'd say, he's a good shot stopper, but not a fantastic goalkeeper. And I just wanted to see, like, from a Newcastle point of view in the Premier League, because I think wasn't your first game against United or something?
Yeah, so I think he played the first 2 games, I think, or maybe it's 3, and then
there was a few clangers dropped.
But I mean, it's just what it is. If he was a good goalkeeper, he would be on number 1. That's at the end of the day, you know what I mean? We've got Dubravka to hopefully come in against Arsenal, and then we've got Darlow as the second string. If he was any good, he would be number 1 already. So he's had pass with like England and stuff, but that never, well, not even at the full senior level, just all at like under 18 and under 21 and whatever. And for a fact that doesn't solidify anything. Players come and go in terms of form and in terms of different ages as well. So
I totally cut you up there talking about you were making some good point about something. I just interrupted Freddie Woodman.
I can't even remember what I'm going on about anyway. So it just this is like what happens normally on the podcast.
Welcome to send him off.
Yeah, I was going to
say. we always cram in a bit of Swansea somewhere. Always happens. There's been one obviously significant incoming and outgoing really since the takeover. Steve Bruce out, Eddie Howe in. A point in his first game. I know he wasn't there, but technically his first game.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Eddie Howe?
We kind of said this a while ago between me and my mates. We were like, is Eddie Howe going to be your first choice? Probably not. That was when like Unai Emery and other kind of names were getting touted about. But actually seeing in what he's done at the club already, in terms of just not even the performance against Brentford was amazing. I was there, and it was just a different class of football that we've been playing compared to what we've been doing over the last 2 years with Bruce. And is so much more than just what you'll see at the end product of a game. I was listening to another podcast about Newcastle United as well, and there was a guy who used to work for the press for Bournemouth. He said he got to speak to Eddie Howe quite a bit, and he was like, the guy does not take a day off at all, and he works about 14-hour days, which is
I was
what you want.
To one of my mates' fathers. I think you were there as well, Sam. I can't remember.
Yeah,
but I was talking to him, and he was saying that Eddie Howe, like he was talking to some Newcastle fan somewhere because he works on a lorry, and he was talking to a Newcastle fan. And he was saying, "Right then, boys, I see you all first thing tomorrow." Eddie, I was talking to the team, and then John Joe Shelby turned to him and said, "What do you mean tomorrow?" He said, "Well, come and train tomorrow." He said, "Well, under Steve Bruce, it was only every other day or something. I don't know how true that is." But he said, yeah, first thing tomorrow.
Yeah, so there was one point towards the end of Bruce's reign, they had 7 days off in 11. And we had a very important, I think it might have been a Spurs game coming up, and we're thinking, look, you're going to be coming up against Spurs, who notoriously were a bit of a bogey team for them, and they're very up and down in terms of what their form actually does. And you're going to go and just go away for 7 days. And he actually, I think, went to Spain and went and go on a golfing trip with his friends. So like, it was completely flip of what we've got now. And to kind of go back to my point, we were saying, would you take him? And we all feel quite bad now by being like, well, yeah, just because he's better than Bruce. That's a really bad point that we said, because he is way more than better than what we've had, especially even over the last however many years, man. Like talking Steve McLaren's and all that. Like we've just had absolute Mickey take managers, whereas he actually puts his thought and effort into what he does, and it will come out, I think, in a real positive light. And there is a thing around the club, and it is a lot of patience right now. We need to be patient, especially if we're still in the relegation zone, and if we are still there by January, it's a long haul up, because through December we're going to have to play Champions League football, because we've got Liverpool, Man City, Man U, Leicester all to come, and it's going to be really tricky and difficult. So someone who's going to come in with a plan, I think, is definitely the right start to it. We'll obviously have to see. You got to judge people after 10 games, but even after the first game against Brentford, I was really, really impressed.
I think it is a project. We've kind of got the same sort of thing on a much smaller scale down in Swansea. But when Russ Martin came in, you could see already, there's a different kind of vibe going on. We're playing better football. There's obviously a project in the long term, and I think it's the same story with Newcastle.
Yeah,
like there's going to be better football played. You're going to start seeing results. All right, it might not be immediate, and I think any football fan with half a brain will be able to see that. And I'm sure you've seen it way before anyone else. Mm-hmm. But for any Newcastle fans who may or may not be listening, it is a project, and just stick with it.
Yeah. On your point before, when you said about players in, who would, if you were in my situation, who would you be looking at to take in? So I know you're all about the big. You're all about the big spends before. You were like, I want a really big name to come in, but like, well, realistically, what would you see?
I like the Tarkovsky links.
Mm-hmm.
I like the look of those. I think, I know Burnley is sort of down the same end of the table as you, but he's a seasoned Premier League player. He's got experience there. Burnley have been in not massive relegation scraps, but he's been down that end of the table. I think, all right, it sounds stupid because if you bring in an Mbappe, obviously then he's gonna be quality, but Mbappe's never been in a relegation scrap, and it is a different kind of football. It's a different mentality, because you're not winning every week and you're not on a high. And some players would struggle. The attitudes of, I could name reel off probably 5 players. Ronaldo, with his mentality, Messi for a start. We spoke about this last night or was it today in the boys group chat, Al?
It was today. I missed it.
I don't like Messi's mentality. I think Ronaldo's mentality is just elite. But I feel like Messi's a bit of a sulker. So the bigger players with the bigger egos, if you bring them in too early, I think you need to bring them in when you're on a bit of an up. But I think you need the players who are going to get down and get dirty in our relegation scrap.
For me, if I was in your position, I'd be looking over at Tottenham and thinking, well, Joe Rodon. I know we might say Joe Rodon because we're Welsh, we're Swansea fans, but I genuinely think that Joe Rodon is the sort of player who needs to play that kind of football. Yeah, he's kind of used to playing, kind of scrappy football under Steve Cooper when he was with us. We weren't winning every week. I think he will, if you do go in for him, probably won't. Let's be fair. You're probably going to look elsewhere for a centre half. But I think him and Jamal Lascelles at the back would look pretty good, pretty solid.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Someone who's wanting to have a scrap, because that is the kind of football that needs to happen. It's also the next kind of stage, and it needs to be, are they going to stay if you do go down?
Exactly. And he's a young player, and you want to have like a player that Eddie Howe can develop.
Yeah.
And he, those are the sort of players that, he'd be going for. So I think sort of a younger player, but a player with a bit of grit, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
But
they do keep saying it is long term. It is, the longer goal is to be back up towards the top. And if there needs to be a bit of backtracking because of what's happened to the point of the takeover, obviously starting the season with Bruce and it all going pretty much tits up, because I mean we're the only team at the minute in the English Football League not with a win.
Yeah,
every other team has a win. We're in a real dire straits. But if we can even if we go down and look to bounce back up straight away, we'll be in a stronger position even after that to then push on. I would have thought and hoped anyway.
Yeah,
Right,
I was going to ask that.
go on, you go
That
first.
was my next question. I was going to say, is it the end of the world if you go down?
See, I really don't think so. I think quite a lot of people will be angry and a bit
Do you know
peed
how
off
much
about it.
parachute payment you get?
Say again, sorry.
Do you know how much parachute payment you'll be
I
getting?
think it's about 100 million, isn't it? Something
On
like
top of the 200 whatever million you'll be able to spend, that
Yeah.
extra 100 million, that's insane. That is insane.
I suppose that's a really good thing for people to go away to a club, and if they're going to speak to a player and go, look, it is what it is. We are here, but you want to be here at the start of this regrowth, and you want to be if like say like Joe Rogan, for example, it could be like, look, mate, you could technically be here for 10 years, and you could be one of the faces that is in the fans' minds. Oh, you were here when we really started the build off, and we had to get out of the Championship the first time of asking again, and then we just went to the heights of potentially winning the Premier League, even potentially further going to Champions League football and stuff.
Well, I was going to ask you, how long do you see it before, in your mind, in your wildest dreams, how long do you see it before you get to a point where you're competing for the Champions League?
I think it's going to be longer than what they're expecting. It's not going to be, or even what the fans are kind of thinking. I mean, if we even get close to winning the Premier League in the first 10 years, I'll be pretty happy.
When did City get taken over? What year was that?
2008. I think
2008, and only this year or last year they got to the first Champions League final and lost. So how long was that? 2008, 18, 13 years?
13 years,
Do
yeah.
you reckon you could do it faster than City?
I honestly, I don't know.
13 years is a long time.
I'm quite just because I've been bitten too many times with it in the past of being a Newcastle fan. I'm a very much glass half empty. I'd like to be more positive about it, but there's so many unknowns, man. Like, what happens if it all just goes completely the wrong way and the PIF just go, you know what, we're not really, we'll keep running your club, but we're not going to put any money in. And because they looked at Inter Milan, they looked at Bordeaux, they looked at about 3 or 4 other clubs outside of Newcastle. They seem they're saying the right things, but like, honestly, who knows? If it happened quicker than that, of course I'm going to be super ecstatic and happy, but I just think it's a longer built thing. Newcastle is a place outside of football that it is growing. More people are coming up here because there's more space, there's more land, it's cheaper than having somewhere than Manchester, Birmingham or London, so it can grow and it has got that potential, and it's a one club city. And the neighbours in Sunderland are not doing too well, so it's even better for us right now.
You said that
but
with
it's
a very
just
big smile on your face.
Yeah, but it's just like, what happens if it all doesn't go to plan? That's yeah. It's the completely my soul being beaten down by years of Mike Ashley owning the club. I think is really taking its toll on me.
It was horrific
funny,
to
because
watch. It was awful to watch, though.
It was.
Just like, I mean, we loathe our owners. We do that, don't we? Like, you know, we
100%,
we don't like them.
But I've said time and again about the problem with Mike Ashley on this podcast as well. I've mentioned it various times, and he always seemed like, even from an outsider's perspective, it was really sad because he seemed like a complete leech. He didn't care. Did he rename the stadium?
Yeah, he changed it to Sports Direct Arena.
Yeah,
and then I think it was Fun 88 bought the sponsorship, and then they also went, oh, here's $1 million or 500,000 or £1 million or something. We want the stadium back to what it was, to kind of get on the side of the fans type thing.
Yeah, no.
Can't wait for the Sports Direct signs to come down.
Are they still up?
They're still up at the minute. Yeah, I think they're meant to be going down this week because we're away to Arsenal this weekend. So I think they've found some time to get it done.
Interesting. That'll be a bit of a party.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm going to the Norwich game on the Tuesday as well, so hopefully they're gone by then.
That could be your first win.
Who knows?
Maybe.
Fingers crossed. I think we've, if anything, Brentford to go by, I think we've definitely got a good shout against Norwich. Even though they've just had a win, and they've got, is it James Dean? Not James Dean. What's his name?
Smith.
Dean Smith. That's it.
Yeah.
He's just gone there. So
dead, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
But you know what? I'd rather be playing. Well, I say rather. I'd rather be playing Arsenal than I'd the Norwich at the minute. Norwich are on a bit of they turn the form, I think, for Norwich, and Arsenal are Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Also, Arsenal can do anything. They're a bit like Spurs, you know what I mean? They're just
I
kind
was
of
going to say, yeah, they're just sort of like a bit like Spurs, but not as threatening, if you ask me.
they get some confidence and then they just implode on the confidence and they go back to losing 2, 3, 4 on a bounce and then manage to turn it around against a decent team and then start a run again. It's very strange.
What a position to be in, to be able to talk about Arsenal every week, Sam.
I know. Lovely. We got Reading on Saturday.
We got Reading on the weekend.
Oof.
Yeah.
No, I'd love to be in the Premier League again, but I'd love to.
Is there a chance of
at
you
my
coming up, do you
disposal.
reckon? Or?
No, maybe not this year.
Maybe not this year. We'll keep quiet about it.
We'll see. We'll see. What are we? 4 points off the playoffs now.
Yeah,
We're playing good football,
matter.
but
playing good football. We're enjoying our time down the ground.
I love it.
So.
I love the championship. I really do. I love it.
If you do come down, you're in for a good bit of entertainment from the football.
Yeah,
really good bit of entertainment.
Superb.
Do you guys like the kind of playoff situation? Because it must be a hard pill to swallow to get the third position, get knocked out by sixth potentially.
Well, we've kind of had both sides of it now, because 11 years ago, we were obviously on the right side of the playoffs,
and we finished third.
Yeah, and we did finish third. So yeah, we sort of go through the semi-finals, and then will we get to the final? Even then, will we, won't we? But then we went through, and then last year, obviously, we got to the final. The season before we got to the semi-finals, didn't quite happen for us either time. But yeah, I do like the playoffs because I think there is it's like an added bit of what's the word?
It's a bit of magic, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Without trying to be cringe
yeah.
or anything, it is a little bit sort of magic about it because
100%.
Anybody, like, you could play your whole season, be crap, win a couple of games at the end of the season, finish sixth, and then you end up going up. That's the beauty of it for me.
True.
Barnsley could have gone up last year.
Yeah, Barnsley could have gone up.
They're like second from bottom this year.
Yeah,
they could have been in the Premier League.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then you've got like teams like Fulham and potentially, if things don't go your way, Newcastle next year, who they're playing in the Championship as well. Like, you could have like Newcastle against, I don't know, who's top of League One at the moment. Anyone know?
Guys up Gillingham or something like that. I don't know.
Anyone know? You know what I mean? You could have like, well, even like a Portsmouth. I know they're a big club, but like at the moment, they're not. Are they really financially? And then you could have like Newcastle, the richest club on the planet, playing in the second tier.
Yeah,
it's beyond. It's absolutely beyond.
Honestly. It reminds me of that Russian club, was it Anzi Machagalawa, where it wasn't they had Roberto Carlos and Eto'o and all sorts, but they were still not great.
Unbelievable. All right, if you could sign 3 players.
Yeah, we
said Ward-Prowse.
Ward-Prowse is one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who are your other 2?
2 more. Right, I tell you what then. One strike. We've had a midfielder, 1 striker and 1 defender.
Yeah, go on.
Joe Rogan? No, I'm joking. I think Tarkowski is probably a decent shout. I mean, if I'm going to go, if I could potentially go against my complete point before where I said I don't want a real big star, but I mean, there could be some potential ones that you could potentially lure away that are still just about fringe. And I would probably say Divock Origi at Liverpool would probably be a decent shout because he bags goals every now and again. I know he comes off the bench and he might have problems to start with of actually doing a full 90 minutes, but he's a guy who does pop up in the most weirdest of situations, but gets 3 points at Liverpool. So to have that potential in the bag, to come off the bench and nick 3 points, which Newcastle are desperately in need for, then he would probably make it up there. So I'll definitely, I think I'll go with Tarkowski, Ward-Prowse, and then Origi.
With Origi, I think if you wanted a better option for Origi, I'd probably go for Batshuayi. Just because I think he's a bit more sort of.
See, I'd start Wilson over both of those.
Really?
I think I'd start Wilson over Batshuayi because Batshuayi in the Prem's not.
I'd start Wilson over Origi, I think.
Wilson's movement is really good.
I've always liked Wilson. I just wasn't sure if he was on the right side of his career at the minute. Like, is he sort of almost getting over the edge sort of thing?
I think he's 28. I'm pretty sure he's 28. Might be turning 29 soon.
I might be totally wrong with that one.
But I mean, a player like him in a fit.
Yeah, not the first time I've done that.
A player like him, though, I feel, even at a later stage for a striker of 33, I think he would be quite a fit individual. and be more of the poacher type at that point as well. So there's still some longevity with it, and I think the core of the team needs to remain quite similar for the first couple of years, just to not lose sight of kind of just a morale thing. Having too many names in too early could really upset the boil.
Thing is, you could buy 11. Oh, my mic fully just went then. For me, I don't think it went for anybody else. If you could buy like 11 of the best players in the world, but if they don't gel,
I think of the
yeah,
11 of the best, and if they don't gel, you don't win anything. Simple as that. But
so I think you have got to be sensible with it, and you've got to, well, at the end of the day, I don't think you'd be chucking 100 million at like one player. I think it would be like you said earlier, like the 20 millions, the 30 millions, the 40 millions, but just buy those players who are just going to add a little bit more quality. Because with all due respect, I look around Newcastle's side, I look at their squad, and I think there's so many just average players there, just average. Just like I look at them and I think you wouldn't get in any other Premier League team. Like in all honesty, like
maybe Burnley.
Well, we desperately need to sign a left back because Paul Dummett's been out injured for ages and he's made of tic-tac shells, so he's always going to get injured. Matt Ritchie is not a left back. He's not a defender. He's a left winger. He plays more attacking. He's got a great cross. He can deliver the ball, but he's not a defender. So, if anything, we really need to look at a left back as a real situation right now. So,
where's Jamal Lewis disappeared to?
He's gone off the face of the earth completely.
Yeah.
Whenever he's played, he's looked very shaky. I think he's too light for the Prem. It could potentially be a better kind of left winger and playing a bit further forward. He's not too bad going forward. He's quick. He's a bit agile. Just his defending just doesn't fathom it. I think he played for Norwich much further up the park than where he was. He was more of like a wing back rather than an out and out kind of left back position. But that's definitely somewhere we need. Because I mean, is it like a 30 plus Matt Ritchie's getting ahead of you and you're like, what, 19, 20-year-old? Yeah. Come on, man. Like, plus he came to the club and he went, oh, I'd like to be joining Liverpool in the future. Oh, it's a really good start to your Newcastle career, by the way.
Don't say that.
That reminds me of, does anyone remember, was it Bradley Johnson, I think his name was? Midfielder. He signed for Derby a couple of years ago and he was like, oh, I'm delighted to be signing for Derby City. And everyone was like, it's county. Not a good start. Not a good start.
You love that, don't you? It's class.
Terrible. Well, maybe in like 5 years' time now, players will be joining clubs like Burnley. They'll be like, oh, I can't wait to join Newcastle. No.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know.
That's the dream.
I'm trying to just not jinx myself by thinking of too much to start with.
We'll do our for you,
I'm treading on eggshells when it comes to that sort of thing.
I think the media are massively hyping it up a little bit, though. Yeah. I know that like the money is ridiculous, but it's a long old road. It's gonna, and like you said, it might take a backward step. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. The way, from an outsider's point of view, anyway. Obviously, I haven't been in the stadium and stuff, but watching them, there just seems like a bit more of a buzz about the club that even if you went down, would sort of carry you through next season.
Yeah, all right, don't worry, we'll be all right.
We went down, didn't we? Like Swansea, a year or two after the takeover, I want to say. And
I think everybody around the ground, when we went down, we were thinking this is going to be some sort of
it's going to be a long old day. It's going to be it's going to be a long time till we're back. Even though we just had investment, like in inverted commas, investment. Yeah. But there seems to be a different sort of feel about Newcastle. There's maybe you're just relieved to have Ashley out. Who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors at hand, I think. Yeah. The thing that we've pointed out on my podcast with the lads, it's there's been nothing good come out of Newcastle's academy for a while. Our youth setup and our training facilities are pretty poor compared to what you can see around the country now. So even if we go down, but they go, you know what, we've just built a new 50 million training facility, would be like, all right, that's a step in the right direction for later on.
Do that at Bournemouth? Didn't he build some new facility or something like that? Or like he added, like he wanted the money to go rather than on transfers. He said, right, build this training academy or like youth academy or whatever it was.
Yeah, I think he did do a focus on that sort of thing because he wanted to build the project and obviously he did and brought them all the way up to the Premier League. So he's definitely someone who thinks forward about some things. It was a bit like when Rafa Benitez came into Newcastle, he was like, look, your training facilities are pretty poor, and if I'm going to be here for a while, which he thought he was potentially going to be, I need investment in the youth. And then Mike Ashley was like, no. Spend my money? You joking me, aren't you? Like, nah. So, yeah, that's what I would like to see early.
Benitez went there at the wrong time, I think. I think now if he had gone there, I think you would have seen the fruits of his labour now properly.
Is he doing good at Everton?
I don't know how well, but he's I don't know how well he'll do. But I feel like with
the point.
a bit of backing. No, I was only going to say with a bit of financial backing, I think we might see maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't like to say because I put my neck out enough times in this podcast and made a total ass of myself.
But when he was at Liverpool, he didn't say the players that he wanted to get because Liverpool were doing a kind of a board chooses the players type thing, and it was all voted on by people on the board. So he never really got given the players that he wanted to. So that's like an unfair assumption that he can't do as good if he chooses his own players and stuff. So it's interesting. Yeah. I mean, the Rafa Benitez thing splits Newcastle fans' opinions. I think he worked the media very well, which saved him because of his results sometimes. And I think he had a bit of a plan, just didn't really execute, probably just because we had crap players and couldn't buy anyone as well. Could be a thing. But
might have something to do with it.
Overall, his tenure, I don't think was the best. I think he
that's
lucky. He got lucky that the fan base loved him when he first came in.
I did, like, honestly, right. I said it time and time again. I feel sorry for him because Everton, they're a dead club, man. They are dead. They're like, imagine being an Everton fan. Can you imagine every season? We get top 4 this year. We got Benitez, or we got Ancelotti, or Calvert-Lewin, James Rodriguez. You finish 9th or 8th every year, every single year. I'd rather be Norwich going up and down. Genuinely, at least you win a title every other year.
I was going to say, that's a good point.
There we are. Well, hopefully, Hodgy, we will be seeing you in the Premier League next year because I don't want to play Newcastle. I really don't.
Yeah, anything, but just don't come down, please.
No, please. That's assuming we stay down. We'll stay coy. Let's keep it on the low down. But thank you for joining us, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure getting a Newcastle point of view. Do you want to have a couple of moments just to plug the podcast?
Yeah, cheers. So we're Talk the Toon podcast. It's me and 2 of my mates, Will and Gray. We really started it just to through lockdown, just to kind of ease our boredom and keep in touch with each other. And obviously that was at the start of when the takeover was potentially going on the first time round. So I thought, let's get in there before it actually happens. And then we had quite a depressing couple of months when it seemed like it was all gone, but now it's getting back on there. So we're just looking forward to what kind of happens. You can find us on Spotify, Acast, Apple Podcasts, all that jazz. So yeah, if you listen, leave a 5-star review.
Right, so we're joined again by Hodgy from Talk of the Toon podcast, and we're going to test his knowledge of his beloved Newcastle United Football Club in a little game we like to call Howe or No Way. So it's basically true or false. True or false.
Yeah.
Hodgy, just answer Howe for true and No Way for false. You'll
good.
probably do it. It sounds way better in your accent than it would.
Yeah, it doesn't really suit us, does it?
No, it doesn't.
But any case,
ready?
Number 1, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Go on.
We're all ready. Great. Off we go. Number 1, Newcastle have won 4 league titles in their history. Howe or No Way?
You count the championship? Does that count as a league title?
I don't know if they do, actually.
I don't think he has.
I don't know. No.
We were quite good in the 50s, but I think mainly just as FA Cup winners. So I'm going to go No Way.
Right. I've got Howe written down my ass.
He's got Howe.
So I think they're all in like the 20s.
Oh, really?
Could have been.
I mean, we were good in the 20s and the 50s.
Yeah, there we are. And the 2020s, maybe.
Oh, maybe. That would be a June.
We'll see. Second one, Newcastle originally played in red and white stripes.
So Newcastle were formed by 2 clubs, East End and West End. East End Newcastle played in black and red, and the West End used to play in black and white. So I'm gonna say false. No way.
The internet's wrong, then. I believe you. I'm gonna say you're right.
Right. I
it's
did a
got
talk on
Howe
it
down
at
in
school
there.
when I was about 15, so.
Okay. You sound like you know more than the website I found.
I
There
think
we are.
we just got a few facts mixed up.
Yeah, that's all good.
I'll give Alan a tick.
Yeah, and
I mean, I don't know. I could be
Now,
completely
you could be
wrong.
completely lying to me now, but
I
you've
could be.
convinced me. You talk the talk, so I'm giving you a point.
Cheers.
rigorous as always on you. Question number 3. Michael Owen is Newcastle's record signing. Away or no way?
No way. It should
Correct.
be Julian.
Who is it?
It is. Does that
It's
hurt?
Linton, yeah.
Does that still
Allegedly
hurt to say?
40 million. I mean, Eddie Howe came out and said he's already 40 million pounds worth of in training. So
Yeah,
just all in one go
so you
for
know
one
what?
game against Brentford.
I'm not sure. Question 4. Former Newcastle club photographer Gladstone Adam came up with the idea for cat's eyes. Howe or no way?
Oh man.
You
That's
don't
a
get this
random
anywhere
fact,
else.
isn't it?
You do
Christ.
not get this anywhere else.
It's a hell of a fact, isn't it?
Well, we're doing. What was his name? Gladstone Adams.
Yep.
Well, we don't have a stadium corner named after him, and there's no suites in the ground named after him. So I'm gonna say no way.
Well, good
You're actually right. He came up
Good
with the idea
logic.
for windscreen wipers.
There you go. I knew
There
that was
you
a
are.
Geordie invention. I didn't know it was his though.
There we are.
There
Yeah,
you
he
go.
used to be Newcastle club photographer. So
I didn't know. That's a good fact. That.
who says
Let
we
me just
aren't
scribble
an
that down.
educational
Yeah.
podcast, right?
I tell you
Who
what.
says we aren't intellectual or
We'll be doing school talk.
How deep have you gone into Newcastle here? Did you go on a real like Wikipedia run and just keep
I just
clicking on
Googled
people's
facts
names all
about
the way?
Newcastle United, to be honest.
Yeah, all right. That's a no way.
Question number 5. Newcastle were the first team in England to wear numbers on their shirts. Away or no way?
We went back to having red numbers on the back of our kits for our 125-year anniversary. So that could be quite a thing. Fuck it. Oh, sorry, I've just done this. Not meant to do that.
It's all
Beep. I'm going to say Howe.
It's no way.
There's no way. It's
Who
actually
was the first?
Arsenal.
Was
It
it?
was Arsenal.
Yeah,
of course it was.
1928.
Of course it was Arsenal, man.
1928. I thought it was way before that. I would have.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
thought-
that was a bit late.
So they just never had numbers before that.
No, I don't think so.
Apparently, no.
Interesting.
Not according to this
Just had their
website. Which,
Instagram
to be
about
fair, anyone could have written this website.
Yeah, I was going to
Might
say,
not be
we've
true.
been
Right.
looking at this website,
Yeah.
you know far more, so there's a
Yeah.
good chance we're probably wrong. But never mind.
To be fair, Al, it probably wasn't our brightest idea to clue someone who's a supporter of a club
Not
that
only
we knew
supports
nothing
them,
about.
lives
Yeah.
there, grown up there, family
Yeah,
from
yeah.
there.
But
there we are.
Swansea quiz. Chris Hughton has the best win percentage of any Newcastle manager in the Premier League era. Howe or no way?
I reckon Houghton was probably on about 55% win ratio. So, I mean, everyone else before and after was pretty bad. Actually, Hodgy was there for a while. Actually, what would he have had? No, I didn't do too well under him, really, apart from one season. I'm going to go Howe.
You're right.
Correct.
59.4. That's managers who've played more than 20 games. So,
Yeah.
not bad. 59.4.
59, that's all right.
Isn't it? I think
Get him
Chris
back.
Hughton's a massively underrated manager. I really do.
Massively.
Hugely
100%.
underrated. You'll go, Alan.
It is Michael, yeah. Question number 7. Newcastle fans were the first to wear replica shirts at a game. Away or no way?
We love merch. That is one thing. Club shop's always rammed. First to wear replica shirts. Howe.
Correct.
Right.
Is it?
1973, according to the football historian from Sheffield University.
Just a little caveat there. That's not us.
But that wasn't us. If it is
Yes.
wrong.
Alan Shearer holds a record for the most Newcastle appearances. Howe or no way?
Most Newcastle appearances. I reckon there's probably someone. Is this like all time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's going to be someone way further back, like Hughie Gallagher. He was at the club for a long, long time. Yeah, I'm going to say no way.
You're right.
Yeah.
Jimmy Lawrence. I don't know who that is. I'm not going to
Jimmy
lie.
Lawrence, no.
No.
Sounds like a keeper, doesn't he? They always have long careers in goal and get loads and loads of games, didn't he?
Back in the day, I'm sure he's playing goals to like 67, didn't he?
Yeah.
40-year career. Just stood between
All for £5 a week.
Yeah, literally.
Packing of fags at half time. Any guess? No Newcastle player currently wears the number 20 shirt. Away or no way?
Number 20 shirt. Number 20. Just trying to go for the first team that were there on the weekend. This is going to be really embarrassing if I say it. No way, and they were there. Ooh, the number 20. I reckon it's someone who we've probably just binned off and we haven't really signed anyone else in, so I'm going to say no way.
You're right.
Yeah, correct.
Who was the last person to wear
So
it?
you meant Howe.
Yeah, Howe. No Newcastle wears
no
it.
one wears.
Yes.
Shit.
Yes, no one
We
has.
give that on a technicality.
I wonder who was the last one. Have you got that or not?
No, we haven't.
No.
I'm trying to think now.
I wouldn't even know. It is probably someone we binned off, like Rob Elliott or something like that.
Yeah, probably someone like that.
Could have been like that.
Fair. Yeah. Last one.
Last question.
Newcastle have never finished higher than 4th in the Premier League. Howe or no way?
That's no way because we finished second. I
Can you
would
give us
love it if we beat them.
That was
yeah.
That is my second favourite Newcastle quote. The first is in our intro, which is "How's the bacon? Did you say?"
Yeah,
which is my favourite thing ever. It's my favourite football quote ever. Like,
oh, dear.
I just love it. I want it on a T-shirt. Like, it's magic.
I'm surprised no one's done that and tried to sell them outside the stadium. Actually,
yeah, with the E on the end of the Howe as well now.
Yeah,
which is that's actually our episode name tonight. So you know. Again, you feel free. You can steal this, mate. These are yours now.
You can come and work on our podcast, man.
Yeah, sorted. Sorted.
Your score was 8 out of 10. Which is
I forgot we
good.
were doing a quiz. I'm not.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm happy with that. I'll take that.
That's
I'm not entirely sure how accurate our scoring is because I'm not entirely sure how accurate our answers were.
Nah, me neither. So, I'm not gonna lie. I put this together about 10 minutes before I came on. So. Preparation is key, and I'll send him off. You'll learn that.
But there we are.
There we are. Hodgy, thank you again for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Do you want to plug the podcast again? Because I don't know if this is going to be attached to the episode or go out separately. I haven't decided yet. So.
Yeah, cool, no problem. Find us on Spotify, Acast, pretty much all platforms. We are Talk of the Toon. We basically just talk Newcastle United. So if you know anyone who's a Toon fan, or if you really want to annoy a Sunderland fan, just say that they're a Sunderland podcast, and then when they actually listen to us, they'll hate you. That's kind of it, I suppose. Just three lads just chatting complete nonsense about Newcastle United. All opinions are not our own. There's ghostwriters and everything. No, I'm joking. Thanks very much for having us on, though, lads. It's been good fun.
Not a problem.
I got that many.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. It's been an absolute pleasure. Al, enjoyed this one. It's been a good one.
There we are. Another quiz. Under beds. We're getting good at these quizzes.
We are, aren't we? We are. I had a lot of practice in lockdown.
Yeah, fair play. He did.
Got to be done. 2 things I learned in lockdown: writing quizzes and doing a podcast. That's all it was.
I only started a podcast. I can't do quizzes.
Anyway, we'll stop rambling. We'll leave you guys to it. Thank you for watching / listening. I don't know what this is going to be on, but enjoy the rest of your weekend. This week with unpopular opinions. Go over to our Twitter. There's a Google form on there. Fill in your little unpopular opinion, and we'll roast you.
As unpopular as you like. Go for it. Whatever you think.
Go for it.
Visit our website. Visit our store. Read our blogs. Anything else they have to do, Sam?
Just, have a nice week.
Subscribe, whatever you want to do. Yeah, have a nice week as well. That too, if you want.
There we are. We'll leave you to it. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you soon. Ta-ra.
Take care.